Today we're going to talk about how your most wounded parts likely cause you to pop into something that's protective, a part of you that's protective, and then that links into your partner's most wounded parts, and then they likely pop into something that's protective. So I'm going to draw and I'm going to write, and it's going to be backwards. So y'all are just going to have to learn to read backwards for today's little TikTok video. So we have this infinity sign, right? And this is from a therapy called emotion-focused therapy, but you do with that what you will. So we all have parts of us that are wounded. We might call those exiles if we're talking about parts work. So those are the parts that hold neediness, pain, rejection. And so a common thing that we might believe about ourselves is that we are not enough, right? Just as an example. And when we believe that we're not enough, we could pop up into our our protective parts, and our protective parts might be, let's say, perfectionism, or it might be criticism or control. And these protective parts, again, they're not bad. They're likely just trying to give you a little bit of power, or they're trying to keep you safe, or they're trying to keep you connected in some way. But when you kind of go into your protective parts of perfectionism, criticism, control, that might link in to your partner's most exiled part, which let's say might be, powerlessness, or they might also have, I'm not enough. Nothing I ever do is good enough, right? Or feeling invisible, or let's see. Yeah, let's just go with that. Invisible, not enough, or powerless, right? So you can see how these protective parts might activate these wounds of your partner. And maybe your partner has different protectors. Maybe they have shut down, or anger, right? Or, they might withdraw, which is like a shutdown, and then you interpret that as abandonment or not enoughness. And so on it goes, right? And the trick to breaking these patterns, one, all relationships have these patterns. All relationships have this sort of infinity sign. And it's actually a really beautiful opportunity for both of you to look at your own stuff and try to look at the wounds of these exiled parts and try to heal from that. And if you all can both, one, know each other's most core wounds and try to speak to those parts like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I might have feedback for you right now, but I love you and you're more than enough for me. I'm choosing you. And there's some difficult conversation that we might have to have, right? Or I respect you. I want to respect your dignity and I want you to feel like you have some power here. I don't want to be controlling or critical. And we got to figure out how to do the dishes together or whatever it is, right? So if you can both see each other's core wounds and try to hold those tenderly with one another, and when your core wounds are being activated, if you can start to speak from that. So instead of deflecting or lashing out or blaming or getting defensive, you can say, oh, that part of me that we've talked about, that part of me that feels not enough, that part of me that feels so much shame or is afraid of rejection, that part is really activated right now. And I need to find some ground underneath me, because ultimately we have to become our first primary attachment for ourselves. And I need to find some ground. I need to take a break. But I just need you to know that part is activated. So if we can speak from these parts, if we can start to own these exiled parts and start to speak from those parts, our protectors can soften, and our protectors are the ones that are that are activating our partners. So hopefully this gives you just a little idea of how to experiment with how to really work with that kind of infinity sign pattern. And it's an opportunity for both of you to evolve and change and grow with each other and try to, unfold in this really beautiful way. Okay.